This is the 19th of September 2017, and we're getting ready for our live broadcast. This will be episode 4 in our series on rosary making and other products that we have at St. Anne's Works. Tonight's episode is going to be about making a Spanish Lasso wedding rosary. And so we're checking our audio, our video. James, our technician, Mike in assistance, and I'm Janet. I'm here to show you some of our products and some of the things that we're going to be making this evening, whatever time allows. One of our many products is a medal of St. Peregrine. This little medal features a saint who had cancer. He, on the medal, shows his leg wrapped. And he was cured of his cancer, and so many people ask for his intercession for their behalf or for someone they love who has cancer. This is a popular medal. It was virtually unknown to most people until, probably about 25 years ago. It says, "Pray for us" on the back. And it comes in with a little prayer for your friends and relatives and those that are sick, or yourself, asking for his intercession to our Lord. And then on the other side of the card, it tells a short story about him. My mother really loved him. She said the prayer and asked for his help because she had cancer. Going through chemo treatments was pretty rough, and this brought her comfort. You might know someone who might enjoy this, or maybe you need it. If you don't have one, we have them on our site. Another favorite is St. Philomena. She's called the little wonder worker. One of the saints that was a youth, and it's got a little picture of her on there. And on the back side it says, well, it looks like it's in another language, Cor Jesu, which means with Jesus. And it's got the Sacred Heart of Jesus on there. It has her name on here, Saint Philomena. She is a fascinating little saint. And it says here that she's become another patron for the hopeless, the impossible cases. You might know someone who might need her intercession. These little medals in the little packet each sell for $1.99 at our site. We have other saint medals on there as well, and you might want to go check that out. James, how's it looking?
It looks good.
Are we rolling pretty good? We had some trouble last week, so we're trying to work out any bugs, anything that might give us problems before we start with our main topic, which is the wedding lasso.
Yep, looks good. We'll be starting in 5 minutes.
Okay. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. We're here to try to walk you through and answer any questions you might have. At 7 o'clock, I'll give you a brief explanation about the wedding lasso. its significance, a little bit about the beads that we'll be using, and putting this together. James, do you have anything else that I need to explain? I think we've done 3 episodes about different types of rosaries and making rosaries.
Well, no, I mean, we really depend on the interactivity with our viewers. So, we're still working out the format and the organization of these episodes. So, no, you've done a great job. Keep it up, and we'll be we'll be starting in 3 minutes. So.
Okay.
If you want to, we do have some new products. We have a glow-in-the-dark rosary, a pink glass rosary, a Czech garnet crystal rosary, a red mountain jade rosary, and a viewer favorite, the Czech glass multicolored rosaries. So if you want to talk about those real quick.
Okay. We've been adding a few new products, and I guess we sell all kinds. We sell different types of beads. The Czech glass is probably the most popular, but it is not the only type of bead we have. And then it also comes in different shapes, mostly faceted, but we do have some pressed glass, which is a different type of process that when the glass is being made, it is more of in a mold type structure instead of the faceting structure. We do have a few wooden rosaries on there, and we're going to try to add some more. It's difficult finding the right type of bead that works well with these pins. When we're assembling a rosary, the pins have to go through the hole and not be too large to where the other end comes out, because we don't want it slipping around. We want it to have room to move. We want it to be able to move, but we don't want it going inside the drilled hole. I mean the head part to go through the drill hole. That can cause lots of problems. This is an 8mm bead, and it's the most common and popular size. We do sell a lot of 6mm, which is a little bit smaller. And then some of the beads have different shapes. Some of the beads are elongated, which means they're not round. They're more tubular in shape. Some of them are flat, like a coin or a disc shape. And then some of them are shaped like a heart or a barrel shape. Okay, it is 7 o'clock. Time to start on our project. Today we're going to work on a Spanish wedding lasso. This is a bridal rosary that is used traditionally by those in Spain and Mexico, South America, but the origin is Spanish. It's called a double loop rosary, and that is because it is 2 large loops. I don't know if I can stretch it out enough to show you all of it in this little space here, but it's basically 2 rosaries. This is the beginning, which is like any other rosary. You've got your Our Father, 3 Hail Marys, and Our Father. And of course your crucifix. But then here's a connection. And after the connection, you have a whole nother set of beginning here and right here. And that's because you have a whole rosary on this end and a whole rosary on this end. Actually, it's more than a rosary. It's 7 decades instead of 5. And that's because they're going to be draped with it. One's going to go over the bride's head, and the other one's going to go around the groom's head and fall about their shoulders. These rosaries are not really anything but a unity memorial type piece. They're not really prayed with like a real rosary. They're more displayed or a memento of the occasion, but it goes a little step further because the priest will drape the couple, and when he does so, he says a beautiful prayer. And then they take it home after the ceremony, and they can hang it over their bed or put it in a keepsake box on their mantle or in their bedroom. And it's a constant reminder of their unity, the new beginning of a new family. And you've got 2 loops. Here's one loop, and here's the other loop. So you can Google it if you. Many of the famous singers, like Spanish singers, people that are, I guess, in the movies, famous couples will have this done if they're getting married in Spain or Mexico. But it's gotten common in the United States because of the beautiful representation of it. The traditional rosary has pearl type beads. Now these are glass, and they have a coating on them. The coating is a pearl-like finish over glass. The Our Father bead is a crystal, and these are check glass, but in these particular ones I chose to use are an Aurora Borealis, which is real popular, and it reflects different colors, kind of picks up the light, and kind of like a rainbow finish almost. It's really beautiful in the sunlight. And so those are your Our Father beads. And of course they're connected the same way that a regular rosary is, but like I said, instead of 5 decades, you have 7. They need that extra length there so that they can drape them. So when the couple goes up to the altar to be married, the witnesses to the wedding, which is I think they call it El Padrino and La Madrina, usually, are the ones that will present it. In the Spanish culture, many of the relatives are active people in the wedding party. It's not just bridesmaids and groomsmen, or young, I guess you would say, the younger people, but some of the older couples give financially or with gifts. Sometimes one couple may give them their family Bible or other mementos during the wedding. And the priest will come down and bless the rosary, and then he will drape them. And they'll stay draped throughout the ceremony as they kneel before the altar. And instead of a unity candle or some of the new unity symbols that are used, like pouring of sand or watering of a tree or some of the things that people do now, this is the traditional unity symbol. And one of the prayers that I read about online that was said was, let the union of binding together this rosary of the Blessed Virgin Mary be an inspiration to you both. Remember, the holiness necessary to preserve your new family can only be obtained by mutual sacrifice and love. And then he lassos them with this. And like I said, they stay lassoed throughout the wedding ceremony. And then at the end, he will take it off so that they can depart. And the helpers, which are usually the witnesses to the wedding, the El Padrino and La Madrina, will take care of the rosary for them as they depart, and then they will take the rosary home. And like I said, they'll either put it above their bed, on the wall, or on the mantle, or someplace as a constant reminder of their union, of their new family. And if you lay the rosary out, I can't hardly do it here because this is kind of a tight place, but it actually forms the figure 8, because this part goes over her and then this part goes over him. So it's like a very large figure 8. And the 8 is a symbol of no beginning and no ending. Of course, Jesus is right there in the middle of their union. So it's an infinity symbol, no end to their vow before God. So what we're going to do is show you how to connect it. And I already started because you're going to have to make a whole lot of decades here. You've got 14 altogether because you've got 7 and 7. And then you've got your connectors. So I already started. Here's 1 decade. And the beads are, like I said, these are glass. They have a nice weight to them. When they drape them, it will hang real nice. It won't be flopping around or coming off, because if she has a veil on, or there's flowers, there's boutonnieres, there's a tuxedo involved in this, and so you want it to have a nice weight, and these do. These have a nice weight, and it has a nice sheen to it because it's got that pearlized finish. So it shows up really nice. And they have this tied really good. So I've got to get this untied. And I'll do a few so you can see how I put this together. So here's 10. So I slide the pin on. And this is a pin designed for an 8mm bead. And then you pull it forward and then back, and it makes like a question mark shape. And that's so you can hook the next pin on. It's going to form a chain, and the chain of beads will be connected like this. That's how it's going to look, like a chain of beads. So you got going one way, then go in the opposite direction, and it forms a chain. Now we'll close this up to where there's no gap there, and you can see the next pin is ready to go. So we'll put the next bead on and do the same concept like that. Put the pin on.
We have a viewer.
We do. Well, good. Thank you for joining us this evening. That one has a little flaw on it, and so I don't want it to have a flaw. I'm going to take it, reject. I'll get another bead. Most of these are pretty round. They're not lopsided, but every once in a while you'll get one, or you'll get one with a little mark on it. But by and large, most of these are beautiful beads. I'll put the next one on. And you get the idea. We're going to do this until we have 10.
Now, you already have some strands.
I do. I do have some strands.
How many strands are there total?
Well, we have 2 strands, and each strand has 7 decades with Our Father beads in between. So there's 6 Our Father beads per strand, and then there's 70 Hail Mary beads per strand. It's a lot, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. If anyone comments, let me know.
There's a comment to show up right here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that does not count the beginning and the end. You know, I say beginning and the end, where you start and go up. Okay?
This is a wedding lasso, right?
This is a wedding lasso. Now, if you look online, there's some new concepts of wedding lassos, which are pretty fancy. Some of them put other things other than regular beads there for the Our Fathers. Maybe a flower-looking crystal, or a bird-looking glass, or I don't know what they're made of. I saw some at a flea market. It was a Hispanic style flea market with all types of wedding paraphernalia in there. And I asked because it did not look like the one I'm making here. It was not traditional. It was something new. And it was very beautiful. But the Our Father beads were not, you know, crystals like these. And you have to remember the purpose. But I guess if you're not using it as a real rosary, maybe it doesn't matter so much, because it's more symbolic than anything.
But this is then considered a traditional.
It is traditional, yes. This is a traditional style. I had one lady, her rosary, her and her husband's, was over 40 years old. And she brought it to me to see if I could remake it. But it was very aged, I guess, from hanging on the wall. And I said, I'd rather not. I can make you a new one, because she wanted it for her daughter. And I said, let me just make you a new one for your daughter, and you keep that one, because then before long you'll be celebrating your 50th, and really don't want to take it apart. It was pretty delicate. Now, what I'm doing right here is I'm opening this so that I can put the chain on. And we'll put the chain on, and then close it like so. And then we count, and I use 4 links between 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I cut number 5. So, like that. Now, what I've gotten together are 7 of these links of 10.
Ah, so this would form
one of the loops. One side. So I have 7 of these. Now, in between each of these is going to be a crystal. Let's see, I got some over here already. So, move that out of the way. So I've already put the chain on. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I thought I had another one. There he is. Where are you? Here we are. 7. Now I have to connect those together. And so these are going to go there. I'm going to need 6 of these. So here we go. We put the crystal on the pin, or the pin on the crystal, and do the same thing. Make our little hook, and we slide on the chain, close it up, turn it around. Now we're going to open what I call the top, which was already on there, and slide the chain on, close it up, go to the other end, do the same thing.
How many beads do you think are in a wedding lasso, Rosary?
Well, I figured that out. I had a feeling somebody was going to ask that. I didn't know it was going to be you. We have 149 pearls and 18 crystals. Do the math. We'll put another crystal on. And you don't have to do a different bead for Our Father, but traditionally they do. It could be all pearls or it could be all crystals. And the crystals do not have to be the Aurora Borealis. They could be clear. But a lot of people like this because it shows up really pretty, shiny. But if Aurora Borealis isn't your thing, you could just do clear. And some people use, instead of silver, which this is nickel, all of the components are nickel over brass to give it a silver color. Some people like gold. But if I did gold, well, I have to use brass or something more expensive than brass. And, well, the components cost a little more. And this generally stays pretty clean looking. It doesn't tarnish or darken. Well, not as easily, I guess, as the other. But you know, I've always used the nickel. I think it looks really nice together, but a lot of people like gold. So
gold's high maintenance.
It can be, and costs more to make it. Costs more to sell. You know, if I was to sell it, it would cost more for the person because the components cost more than this. So.
And how much does this sell for?
Ooh, go look it up. I think it's $80, but $79.99 or something like that. You have to look it up.
Yes, it's $89.99.
Oh, is it $89.99? But you get free shipping with that.
It is.
You get free shipping. Yeah. Wasn't sure. Okay, so we're connecting now one of the loops. And I picked out a crucifix that I thought went really well with it. It's got hearts on each end. I thought because it's wedding that would look good. You know, a lot of people like hearts for the wedding.
Indeed, it's quite symbolic.
And then for the centerpieces, okay, I know they're here somewhere. I'll have to get those.
You won't need me to get them?
Here they are. They're hiding from me. I knew I grabbed them. We're going to use these. I thought that went together pretty nicely. You have to have 3.
Now, a regular rosary.
Wrong thing.
A regular rosary uses how many beads?
59.
So
This is bigger, but like I said, they've added decades there. Instead of 5, you've got 7. And the
well, 7 per loop.
per side.
Just about 3 times, I guess.
Yeah, it's almost 3 rosaries when you think about it. Because a regular rosary has 50 because it's 5 decades. And I need a piece of chain. I forgot to add it to the end of this one. And we're going to have to do that now. Okay.
Helga says, very beautiful.
Thank you, Helga. I appreciate that. I'm glad you joined us this evening. Now, we got the chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll cut number 5. And we can add this one. Now, let's take a look at this. Because we're going to have to connect everything. We've got a long loop here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 decades. And there are your crystals in between. 6 of those. So that's 1 loop. So what we have to do is add this right here. We're going to add the first connector. And we're going to use this wire.
Hoofed asks, does it really say, in case of accident, notify a priest on the back?
Of which one?
I'm looking.
You have to look and see which one. Some do. Sometimes I have trouble getting a crucifix with that stamped on the back anymore. It's, I guess they call it old school, but you'll have to look up the particular rosary that he's asking about, James.
Oh, okay, yes, he found the close-up of this one, and it does not have that.
It does not have it.
So.
Did I state that it had that?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
you may have seen that on another rosary.
On another
perhaps.
rosary. Okay. It is hard to find a crucifix with that stamped on the back. I used to could order those, but I don't know if I don't know what happened.
They always change things
They
up.
changed things up. The last ones I ordered did not have that. And so we're bending our wire to make a shape. It kind of looks like the letter R. Actually, there's 2 side by side. And the reason why I did 2 is because I want them to be the same size, same amount between there. And what this is your connection, like this right here. This is your connection. That way it won't come off. This couple's going to be kneeling there at Mass for nearly an hour, and then they're going to be hanging it on their wall or showing it to people. We don't want the crucifix to come off, and we don't want the rosary to come apart. So we're going to do the best we can at putting...
Use that in nearly all connections.
Yes, I do. This was taught to me, and it takes place of...
The jump ring?
Yes, the jump ring. I had one over here that I took off of the crucifix a while ago because they generally aren't strong enough. Now, this one was pretty strong.
But basically, you're talking about a little loop of
Mm-hmm.
wire.
I am.
Not even soldered or anything.
Here it is. Okay, this is what I took off. It's just a little ring. Because I was going to have to open it anyways to connect. And I said, well, we're just going to take that off because that could be pulled and come apart. So, now, the reason why there's so much sticking out here on the end is because I had to bend it against my fingernail, and so I'm opening it up. And now I'm going to cut some of the excess off because we don't need that much. So I'm going to cut part of this off. And I'm going to... This has a pretty wide, right there on the end. It's pretty thick. It's a pretty thick center. It's not... The connector is, I guess you'd say, very pronounced. So we're going to slide this in like that. We want it to dangle a little bit. We don't want it bound up. Now we're going to close it. Mash it down against the other piece of wire. Get it together. I bent it pretty good, so now kind of got it flattened out to where it's kind of level. Remove the nose of the pliers down here, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make the other loop just like this one, but it doesn't have to be as big because this one had to be big for this to dangle. But this is going to go on. This little chain's going to go on. So it doesn't have to be as big. So we're going to go around and form a loop like that. It's made a loop. And you can see it there.
Yep.
Now I'm going to put one on. Like that. It's on there. Now we got to close it. So we're going to clamp down on this loop. Keep it still. We're going to go around.
Forming almost like a noose.
Like a noose or a knot. And it's going to end up sticking up. And we're going to cut this extra wire off because now there's a little piece sticking out right there. We got to shut it down so it doesn't poke people. So I'm going to push against it and close it. Now we got it. There we go. We got one connector done. It's all connected, and
okay.
We're going to do the other end. I'm going to do the same thing. Put it on there. And clamp it down.
Said he found it on the website.
And we're going to make our other loop. Now before we put the other end on, we have to make sure none of this is kinked up. So we're going to I know you can't see it, but I'm letting it dangle right beside me to get any kinks out. And caught the other end of it. And I'm putting it on. We want to get any kinks out of there so that it's not going to be crooked. We let it dangle and naturally fall down. Now I'm going to close this up. Like same thing. Went around 3 times. Cut the excess off.
So this will be the conclusion of the first loop.
Yes. Not really the conclusion, though, because we still have to add the beginning part of the rosary.
Which will then connect to that other center.
Yes. That's right. I'm not happy with this, but I'm going to make it happy.
What do you mean?
It's sticking up, and I don't want it to not cut, but hang on somebody's clothes or her veil. Now, I got it pressed down. See, I don't want it. They're going to have to put it on her, and if she's got a veil or any pretty fancy clothes on, it'll catch. And they won't be happy with that. So we want a happy bride. All right. So that is one loop. And we're going to do this part now, which
connects to that main center.
Right. So I went ahead and made it for y'all.
So this uses the pearl style beads and the crystal.
Yes, because this is where it is, right here. We're doing this right here. And then there'll be one right here. Nope, can't see that, can you? Let me move it. Okay, we're going to connect this to this.
So you have check glass with the Aurora Borealis style.
Mm-hmm.
And you have these pearls.
Mm-hmm.
Are these pearls like ceramic or?
No, they're glass. They're glass with a coating, a pearlized coating.
Is that?
They're basically well, you will see a lot of women, like even Jackie Kennedy. She didn't have real pearls on. She had costume jewelry, which she wore often, and it's just a really nice.
But considering there's how many of these pearls?
149.
149.
Mm-hmm. That's right, 149. Now, I already made the other loop for the other side.
That's cheating.
I know, but y'all didn't want to sit here that long, did y'all? So we need to connect this one there. All right.
MMCC says, just lovely.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
Do we know what we're going to be filming the next time we do a feed?
Well, I was hoping I'd get some input from some of our viewers of what they would like to see. I do have a couple of ideas. One is a magnetic bracelet, which is easy off and on. And another idea is a chaplet or a kind of like a novena. Yeah, I guess you call it a chaplet. Oh, I'm over here talking and I'm not showing you what I'm doing. I'm making another connection. But y'all have to let me know if there's something in particular you'd like to see. I thought this was something different, and a lot of people might have seen something similar but didn't know what they were seeing. We were invited to a wedding that where this took place, and it was such a beautiful wedding. It was just so beautiful, so holy. I love some of the traditions of the different cultures. Now I just cut some more wire. This is also nickel over brass, and we're going to have to do another one of these like I did a while ago, where we want them to be of equal size. I'm making I call them R's. I don't know if they look kind of like the letter R.
Indeed.
So now we're going to cut some of this off. And we're going to connect number 2. Or we could call one bride and one groom, or the second one, the second loop. Here goes the chain. I hold it down like that so that it won't move when I'm turning it. Because otherwise I'd be spinning around. I wouldn't get anywhere. Cut this off. And press it down. I always feel of it to see if if it catches me, then I gotta press it again. Now we're going to connect the other side. And we're going to dangle it. By dangling, I mean holding it as high as I can. Let it get any kinks out. Thank you, James. He's kind of running his fingers over it. When it stops swinging, I catch the other end. And we don't want it to be crisscross or kinked up. All right. I'm going to do the same thing. Round and around we go. I have to watch the monitor to see if you can see what I'm saying. James got it fixed up pretty nice. There's 2 pictures, so y'all can watch. I think we're getting a little better at this TV business. Okay, we need some more wire. About 4 of them. Okay, now we have that one connected. So we need, where'd you go? here somewhere. It's all starting to... Oh, there you are right there. All right, we need you connected. Mar. Put this one on. Hold it down. Round we go. So we now have bride and groom done, but we need to connect them to Jesus. So here we go. Guess what? We're going to do another one of these. Got to connect to Jesus like that. So we need 2. Tell you what, if the bride made this, she'd really get the picture, wouldn't she?
Indeed.
And the groom too. I mean, it's not just, we got a lot of guys that make rosaries. My dad made rosaries. He made me a rosary. I said, Dad, I know how to make rosaries, but I wanted to make you one. He made everybody a rosary. He was so excited he learned how to make rosaries. He did. He made me a pearl one, as a matter of fact. That was he had, he went to I think a garage sale or an estate sale, and he found a lady's necklace, and he took it apart. And actually had my mother do that. She took it apart. And he made me, I'm trying to remember what he made Judy. He made Judy one too. And he made my husband one, and he made he made a bunch. He made them for presents. I think he made, Mike, didn't he made you one of Job's tears, I believe?
I don't remember.
I think it was Job's tears.
What are Job's tears?
Job's tears are seeds. The plant is quite unique in that it produces its seed in the shape of a tear. And inside the seed is a hole which has I guess the beginning of the plant starts there. And that is a natural hole in the seed. Mother Teresa would pray with a Job's Tear rosary. That was
Hoof says, I'm not religious, but I always thought they looked good. Nice to see them being made.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. If he's not religious, well, they are an outward sign of God's love. And there's a story you might want to hear about a man who was very wealthy and prominent citizen. Now, this is a long time ago. And he would wear a rosary about his waist. And he'd go through town, and everybody thought, he's a wealthy, prominent man of the community. And they saw the rosary and reminded them to pray. Well, he died. And he did not go straight to heaven. He was about to go to the other place, and the Lord sent him back.
Oh, is Is this a true story?
This is a true story. It's in the booklet called Secret of the Rosary, which was written by a saint. St. Louis de Montfort told this story, so it's not something just made up.
So what happened?
Well, like I said, he was supposed to go to the other place, but they said, we're going to send you back. And the only reason why we're having, God's mercy is because you reminded other people to pray by wearing a rosary about you. But you didn't pray it. You just wore it. You should have been praying for God's mercy. And so he come back in a fright, and everybody said, oh, he lived, He's alive, he's alive. And he told them what happened to him and about God's mercy. And he prayed the rosary after that. He didn't just wear it. But the rosary kept him out of the bad place because he wore it. Because it was an outward sign to others to pray to God. And they did. When they saw his rosary, I don't know what it looked like. It didn't say in the story. But it was an outward sign of God's mercy and love to pray. So that is a truth.
Not suggesting you to do that.
No, not. But some people do wear them. Some people wear them for the wrong reason. But just looking upon it and seeing it is a reminder. Just like if you see a church steeple, or if you see someone wearing a medal or a pin that has a cross on it. It's an outward sign of God's mercy and love. Because the cross, the crucifix is... A lot of people say, I don't like to see Jesus on the cross. And that's his love for us, what he suffered. But yes, he did rise from the dead. And that's a good thing to see too, is the resurrection of the Christ, because that was fulfillment of God's promise, covenant.
So
I have it all together. Look at there.
You finished the wedding lasso.
I did finish the wedding lasso. Amongst all my talking.
Although you cheated.
I did cheat. I already had this one over here made. I had it made. Now, what have I done wrong? Have I done something wrong? Let's take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I got it right. I do have it right. 7 and 7. And here is where they connect the bride and the groom to Jesus.
Okay, so it is 7:50. I guess technically we have some time.
We do have a little bit of time. We have a little bit of time if we want to make something else. Were there any?
I didn't print out the new products.
Okay.
I was wondering if you wanted to mention those.
Okay, I can. Here are a few of the new products that we just listed on our site. This is a glow-in-the-dark one. This rosary does turn green in the dark. Daylight makes it glow. It's even if you have it just from a lamp bulb or something like that, the light, it's luminescent. This one here is a pink glass. It's just, I believe those beads were from a lady's necklace, and
yes,
I took it apart, and there were enough to make a rosary. This one here is check garnet color. It is glass. It's check glass. And it doesn't look real red in the picture, but it is. It's a dark red. That's the birthstone for January. That's January's birthstone color. This one here is called Mountain Jade, red mountain jade. Well, it's really like a dolomite. It's not jade. Jade is usually green, but they call it mountain jade, and it's because it comes from a mountain, you know, like where they mine it out of there. These here are plaques you can hang on the wall. They have a real beautiful saying about the vine and the scripture reading about I am the vine and you are the branches, whoever comes to me. That verse and it's got grapes on there and vines all around it and the scriptures in the middle, and you can hang it on your wall. It's pretty heavy, actually. It's kind of a nice piece.
Now, these products can be found directly on our homepage of stansworks.org. So you don't have to really hunt for it. It's right there on the homepage.
Yeah. This is a miraculous metal with some really beautiful edge work around it. It's sterling silver. It is not new. I found this at a charity store, and I bought it. I just thought we needed to have this in our collection of items in our store, and I have a devotion to Our Lady of Grace. This one here is also a pre-owned piece. It's a home interiors piece. It's beautiful. The shepherd's voice. It's got the little children that are shepherds with our good shepherd, Jesus, in the middle. This is white glass. It's 8mm round beads.
We're actually out of those.
Are we? Did we sell that one?
Yes, but of course you can make one more if you needed to.
No, I can't. You know why? That was a one of a kind.
Oh.
That was a one of a kind. So.
And what about these multicolored?
No,
ones?
I have more of those. This is check glass. It's multicolored, and it is a pressed glass, which is kind of like a little mold, and each one of these little beads looks like a flower, and they are lots of different colors there, but some people really like it because it's very bright and cheerful looking and pretty. A lot of ladies like that one because it's flowers. This is a bracelet. You have 10 Hail Marys and 1 Our Father, and you have a little miraculous medal that dangles from it, and a little crucifix right there. It's part of the chain. It's hard to see. It's a little difficult to see because it's silver. Well, it's nickel, but silver color. So those are some of our products on there. We have a whole lot of other products, a whole lot more rosaries, and a whole lot of bracelets. And
so we didn't hear any feedback from our viewers about what we would make next. So what were your 2 ideas?
Well, one of my favorites is a rosary made out of the check crystal. Now this is the Aurora Borealis crystal that we used for our Father beads on here, but we could make one out of the whole thing out of this, and it's just
quite
beautiful.
Colorful in a way.
It is that it's beautiful in the sun. The sun picks up all this, kind of reminds me of a stained glass window, all the different colors, bright and shiny. This is an 8mm, and I think we have it in a 6mm as well. But as a matter of fact, I think we do have those already listed on our site with this crucifix.
I can look it up.
And this centerpiece.
But while we're doing that, what about your other idea?
Well, I have a unique.
You do have those wooden beads, right?
I do have wooden beads, but I don't have a whole lot of those. So this is an interesting bracelet that I can make. And I have to use a larger hole because I'm not using pins when I use this. This is magnetic. Like that. So I put the beads on here. And this opens up. And this comes off like this. And you slide them on. And when you slide them on, they have to be able to go over this. And so like these won't fit. The hole is too small. So I had to come up with a larger bead. And I have...
Those were 6 millimeters with the Aurora Borealis. Right?
Okay, I thought they were 8.
Oh, there is an 8.
Mm-hmm. So we would have to put it on like this.
So that's rather simple in a way.
It is simple. It's easy to make. But we want to put a little miraculous medal on here. And we want to put a little crucifix on there.
The 8 millimeter, there are two Aurora Borealis, the crystals of this one, but the 8 millimeter has a different crucifix. The 6 millimeter has the crucifix that you're talking about for this one.
Are you sure?
Yeah, well, I have it up here.
Okay.
We have 2 of this one. See?
And that one is the 6. Well, that's a surprise because I thought that was the 8.
Not that I can see.
Okay. Well, I'll have to double check on that because that's a really large crucifix to put on a 6.
Yeah, indeed.
See, that's like a 2-incher.
Here's the 8.
Oh. Well, that's a big one too. That's a big... Okay.
So, which one will it be? Will it be the bracelet? And if you do the bracelet, it's so simple that
we could do both.
You could do both.
What I have to do is I have to come up with spacers for this because you can't just put the beads on. You have to have something in between there to fill this. So I'm going to go find me some spacers to put between the Hail Marys and the Our Father. So
it would be like a chaplet.
Yes.
With one decade.
One decade and one Our Father. Mm-hmm.
This would be a new product because
this will be a new product.
I haven't had a magnetic.
No, I haven't. It's just something new, and it's easy to put on. You know, you don't have to have someone help you. I don't think. Let me see. If you can get them close enough together, it just kind of snaps right in there. So
yes,
kind of easy to connect.
When do you think we should have our next broadcast?
Well, I guess it depends on when I find these spacers. I can go look tomorrow and see if we can post when we're going to do the next broadcast. How about that?
Indeed.
Well, it's 8 o'clock, and we want to thank you for joining us. And please let us know.
We do have a question.
Oh, good. Okay.
Just wanted to drop in and say that I received my order the other day and love them. Thank you and take care.
Oh, well, thank you so much for telling us. I'm so glad you received your package and it got there safely and that you like your products.
Okay. If there's no other questions, we could say the ending prayer.
Yes.
Yes, Hoof says, thanks for the stream. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Okay.
I'm glad you joined us this evening.
Okay, and so I guess we'll go ahead and...
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Good night.